welcome back to With a Marvel. We are recapping episode 4 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I am hosting tonight. I am Sarah. With me, we have Dean.
Yo, I'm doing my bottle flipping action. I haven't quite got a combat knife, but there is a lot of flipping action going on. I'm happy to be here in an unusual setup, weird angle, but there's some weird angles in this episode too, and that's okay.
There really are. And, of course, Tyler.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? We do not have Sean tonight. He got his second dose of the vaccine. He is currently turning into a super soldier, so we will see him next week.
Got him.
Yes. Anyway, so I am taking over. This episode was fire. I am taking over control. I know nothing about the comics. I am just going to point out how much I love Zemo the whole episode, and that's okay. So I
love him more than I love Turkish Delight. That's for sure.
I just love him so much, and it's a problem. Okay, let's start with overall thoughts of this episode. Dean, how are you feeling about this episode specifically?
This episode encapsulates everything that I kind of envisioned the show to be before we saw the show. And obviously the first episode, we kind of everyone was split up and separated and stuff. And also, you know, some of the humor and the action balance is being off. But this episode just really brought everything together in a way that I wasn't expecting to see for at least the next episode, because I figured we'd kind of have a bit of a lull before we get to like the third act kind of stuff. But yeah, love this episode. Possibly the best thing the MCU has done in the last 2 years.
Wow, that's strong claims. Tyler, how do you feel about this episode?
This is definitely my favorite episode so far. We start with a very touching scene at the start. We end with something very shocking. Both Sam and Bucky got some time to really shine this episode, and their acting, I think, is really good. And lots of good action too.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this episode. I think it is the best of the 4. I have some issues with some of the writing stuff. And just, I don't know. There's some things that I'm just like, what? But yeah, we'll jump into it.
Like that.
We'll jump in with the beginning. Like Tyler said, we started 6 years ago seeing the scene where they deprogrammed, oh my God, what's his name? Bucky. Doing great.
Yes.
What do you guys think about this scene? This scene touched me. Like, seeing him like break down and crying, I was like, oh my gosh.
This episode has some of the best acting we've seen in the MCU, period, including any of the movies, with some of the best performances that you want to throw out there. You know, Tom Hiddleston, whatever. Watching how he was kind of going from like the intention, like the distress of the situation, to like slowly like realizing that it wasn't, you know, working, and him finally realizing that he's free, and then kind of like breaking into that manic elation. Yeah. And really, I don't know the name of the actress she's playing. Is it Ao?
Ao.
But that she really sells with, you know, minimal dialogue. I mean, basically she's reciting the code words, and she has a couple of extra lines either side of that, but really sells like the relationship that he developed with her, and, you know, by proxy, the, you know, Wakanda from his time in there, which is something we never got to see, which is obviously, we always say this, that these shows do that really well, but it wasn't just something that we didn't get to see. It was like, you know, here's a deleted scene that also happens to be like Oscar-worthy acting. Here you go. Enjoy. And I did. I definitely did.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Tyler? What did you think of this scene?
I thought it was really touching. Seeing Bucky realize that he's no longer controlled by those words and being activated as the Winter Soldier. Even I mean, at first I didn't know what they were doing with him. I thought he was going to activate him to train or something, but it's definitely more touching than that. So that's good. It's a good scene.
Is it the same set of words every time? That's probably a dumb question, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same every time.
Oh.
I don't think you can't mix them up, or, you know,
I always thought it was like different
in there.
Yeah, you just throw different words. I don't know.
Just to mix it up, you know, if you want like a happy Winter Soldier, you throw in some scat singing, some boobop, and, you know, you get a different,
it's like a whole song
version.
Yes.
I really love how they went from this scene and then back to the end of the scene from the last episode, and really shows like how different the dynamic is now between Bucky and AO. And you can see that, we just in that short scene at the beginning, we established that there's obviously a lot of trust and a lot of respect, but also, she's not playing around when she comes looking for the man who killed the former king of Wakanda. So definitely some tension that, rides throughout a lot of this episode up until, we'll get to it later with the rest of the Dora Milaje. Yeah, I won't get there yet.
So I don't like to go in chronological order. So we're sticking with the Wakandans. Let's go into that scene when they show up and start really whooping ass. And I loved that scene. It was rewatching it on the second time. It was a lot shorter than I remembered, but I still thought it was great. For some reason, I thought it was like a really long scene, but it really was only like 3 minutes, which is fine.
It was great.
It was really good. I loved the line at the end when John Walker's like, they weren't even super soldiers, and they still like beat them up and all this stuff. It was great. What did you guys think about this scene?
Tyler, you want to hit this up?
This is a really good scene. I like that they put John Walker in his place, because fuck that guy, honestly.
He's just doing his job, man. Just doing his job.
He's got to be put down a little bit, like just knocked down a peg. Because he shouldn't have tried to touch her shoulder.
Yeah.
No, that was definitely over the line. He did so much of this like typical like just jerky kind of not passive aggressive, where he's like trying to be well intentioned, but he's just completely misreading the situation.
I think it was passive. It was a little passive.
It was passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Was he though? Was he really trying to flex on them? I genuinely think thought he was trying to like wrap up the conversation in a tidy little, let's not, in a diplomatic Captain America-y, or what he perceived to be a kind of Captain America-y kind of way. But then he's also throwing in lines about like the pointy sticks, and it's dismissive, and he's clearly not just looking at their uniforms and like the way that they're composing themselves. These aren't just fucking mercenaries that he's dealing with. These aren't just terrorists, these are like, this warriors. Is a different animal to what he's used to dealing with. These are royalty warriors beyond anything that he's had to go up against, both kind of verbally or physically.
And he start the scene being like, you want to fight, Falcon? I put the shield down to make it even. Yeah, he's definitely got an air about him for sure. And when he says that they don't have jurisdiction there, that's kind of a weird line from him, because we're not in America, we're in Latvia.
That's a fair point. I mean, and they have the greatest line of we have jurisdiction wherever we find ourselves to be, or something like that. And really, all those actresses just really playing the Dora Milaje. They are just so believable. Like, I'm not wanting to run into any of those people anytime soon, because
I like Sam's line. It's like, you have a better chance fighting Bucky than you do the Dora Milaje.
Yeah, and Bucky's pretty terrifying, unless you know the secret arm combination, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Which definitely felt like something like a semi-betrayal to him. At least that's feel like how he took it, because she dismantled the arm. He didn't know they could do that. But also, she doesn't call him Bucky. She doesn't call him White Wolf. She calls him James, like a disappointed parent.
Right, yeah.
That's a good point. I love the part when they're just beating up on Walker and, oh my gosh, his friend. And Battlestar. And Sam is like, or someone's like, go help him. And they're like, you're doing great. Like, just like condescendingly. And then they jump in and help. That scene it was interesting. Let's talk about John Walker. He's really...
I'm not cheering for John Walker, as a character, but also the character of John Walker is one of the best things about this show. So there is that as well.
I agree. I don't know. This show's getting me with John Walker because whenever he's Captain America, and I think this is the point, whenever he shows up as Captain America, it's just like you want to beat him up. And he's just so cocky and so arrogant, and you're just like, this is not Cap. I can't root for this guy, which I think is the point. And he looks at it as a soldier, which and they have this great dialogue, which is probably my favorite part of the episode. When he's talking about the Medal of Honor, and then you have that scene where he's out of the uniform and he's talking to Lamont, and it's just this real like guy who's terrified and is wondering if he should take the serum, and I'm like rooting for him. And I root for him when he's not Captain America, and I like feel for him and feel for his character. And then whenever he's Captain America and he gets this big head and looks at it like a soldier and looks at it very like saying like your partner, we're partners, like you know what I mean? It's just I think they're doing a great job. You hate him, but there's still a little part of him that you like understand and like connect and understand why he is this way.
Yeah, his whole demeanor completely changes when he's wearing the suit for sure.
Yes.
Which is something that they make a whole point of with, Captain America in Captain America of he doesn't change before or after the suit or the serum or any of this stuff. And obviously in the last episode, this whole kind of thing of like putting these icons on a pedestal, you're kind of setting them for failure. And that's exactly what it is, because when he's not wearing the suit, you're right, he is a decent guy. He's not like, he's not unlikable. When you can see he's trying to do the right things and he's trying to say the right things, and but he's still trying to do the right thing. He's not just, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to compare him to Cap and say that he's a bad guy, because I don't think he is.
He just looks at it in a different way. Like, he looks at it as a military man, which more than Steve Rogers wasn't technically military. You know what I mean?
And to cut right to the end where everyone's taking pictures and videos of him in the fountain murdering that guy, and it's like, oh, well, that's not exactly
that is a crazy shot. Oh, my God.
So good.
Such a shocking shot.
But even when we see him doing that, and we see the public is seeing that, the press are going to see that, it's not a good look for Captain America. But at the same time, he's a soldier, he's a military guy, and what are they for if to not go out and kill terrorists? Basically, I'm sorry, but I'm not saying that that's what they should be doing, but that is basically what they do and what they are there to do. So what would people expect to see Captain America doing, or what do they, and what people envision him doing versus what he's actually doing? It's so different, but he's still doing what he's supposed to be doing, even when he's at his darkest. So it's interesting, really interesting.
Just not in front of the public.
You can tell he's not a bad person when he talks. When he's talking with Lamar about his medals of honor and how he got those for the worst day of his life, and how he could have saved more lives if he had the serum and stuff like that. You can see that he's not a bad person, but the real difference between him and Cap is that in parallel shot to the end, when he's slamming the shield down on the guy, Cap did the same thing to Tony in Civil War, except he just stopped at disabling Tony's suit. That's where it ended.
Oh, yeah.
The guy was wearing armor, to be fair. I mean, Tony Stark was. This guy wasn't.
This is a guy running. He didn't kill Lamar. Carly did, but he was there for it. He was running. He
was holding people down, and he was a definitely contributing factor.
Mm-hmm. But he's like, "Hey, I didn't do it." In broad daylight, crowd of people, and just murders this guy. At least do it like in like a back alley or something.
Yeah. That's the thing where I think the thought of like being the icon or being the symbol was gone, and it was just, this is my military job, or this is what I'm supposed to do to save these people or whatever.
But that's exactly what it is, though. It's a military job, and people want there to be a military. People want there to be a police force, but they don't want to reconcile with the actual realities. Well, this is what I'm saying. People want to eat the cow, but they don't want to see the cow getting killed or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't
And
think
it's
that's what the
same thing.
point of Captain America for like the American symbol. Like, I don't think it's for us to watch him like murder some man. It's supposed to like really be a symbol and bring us hope and stuff like that. And then all that happens on the side and we don't see it. You know, like
Yeah.
kind of with the military and with the police and stuff. Like, we know let's go military. We know the military is like doing things, but we still are like seeing the what's that called? The like the TV side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but then what does the government expect to happen if they take one of those military guys, put them in a bright coloured costume and shine a spotlight on them for the world to see? They're just, the people are going to see them doing military things, you know, like it or not.
Yeah, that's why I've said the government messed up. Like, that's all the government.
Definitely a bad public perspective, because people out there on their phones, they don't know that they just killed his friend. They don't know that this guy's a super soldier.
Yeah, there's definitely another side.
They just see Cap killing a dude in the middle of the street.
Yeah, exactly. Like, crazy.
That's going to sell the papers at the end of the day.
A good twist ending to kind of end on, and not really twist, because I feel like we were building up to him being evil. I don't think he's evil, but, you know, having this kind of end. He obviously took the serum. I mean, that's pretty. I mean,
I don't know what the delivery system is for that. Is he supposed to inject it? Is he, you know, it's obviously not the big chamber. He doesn't have a chamber at home, like a sunbed and a super soldier.
He just vapes it. He puts it in his vape. I was thinking the same thing. What was the moment that you realized he took the super serum?
The second he asked Lamar would he take it, I figured he'd taken it by then.
But, oh, okay.
Oh, I thought
he took it after.
Took it after that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we really needed that scene. I think that scene was it was a really good scene in and of itself. But I think they did such a good job with Wyatt Russell conveying like in how the humiliation that he felt with the Wakandans and everything else. And I felt you just really saw that in his face. And the whole scene with Lamar, it did help humanize him outside the costume, which I think was good to get that one more time before.
I think that's what the point was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of felt like the whole point of that scene was to signal the death of Battlestar. I kind of felt like it kind of became a bit, you know.
I didn't see his death coming, so maybe that was my fault.
As soon as he took the serum, I was like, he's going to take the serum. Lamar's going to die, and off and down we spiral. And that scene, you know, cemented it. Although I will say about that scene is that, if anything, it seemed like Lamar should have been the one to take that serum, because he seemed to have a much better perspective on, you know, the serum and the kind of ethics around it than John Walker did. And he didn't he's
been John's like voice of reason since he showed up.
He definitely would have been a better candidate, I think, for that serum. He might have been an actual, you know, good Captain America from the start if we didn't pair him up with some white psycho, you know. So that's
maybe the scene was to contrast the scene earlier where Zemo asked Sam would he take the serum. Yeah, and Sam immediately goes no. Whereas they're both kind of like, yeah, we take it immediately.
Yeah, which I get is just the fact that they both said that they would take it is supposed to signal like, oh, well, these probably aren't the right guys. But like I said, I think Lamar had a pretty decent attitude about how he kind of just said, well, we'll just make you more of what you are, you know, which maybe was a little bit naive. I don't know. We'll probably see more of, you know, we'll probably get some more layers of John Walker as he kind of unravels himself over the course of the next 2 episodes, which I'm really looking forward to, because he's the best thing about this show by far.
Yeah, rest in peace, Lamar.
Rest in peace, Lamar.
Yeah, that was a savage way to
go. I didn't see his death coming, but I probably should have, because in the comics, his death, John Walker goes crazy because his parents are killed, I believe, and since we don't really get anyone close to him.
Yeah,
in this series, aside from Lamar, and I think maybe his wife that we saw his first appearance
briefly. Yeah.
So Lamar had to take the bullet there.
Sorry, Lamar.
Yeah, that was rough. Like, he got like shoved into or like thrown into a
Yeah, he
pillar.
like smashed his back and
He was-
crushed his chest all at
Yeah,
once.
he was out like instantly. That was a scene. Before we talk about that whole scene, I would like to jump back a little bit and let's go into the like Zemo, Sam, Bucky part of it and lead into the Carly part of it. So I mentioned before there's a couple little things writing wise that bothered me, and they're just stupid things. When Sam is talking about his TT and they're like making fun of him, I was like, is that not that's not a common thing? Like I hear people call their aunt TT all the it just felt weird. Like there's certain reactions that they write into this show that I'm just like, this isn't normal. Or when Zemo is talking to the little girl and they're like, what is he doing? I'm like, he's getting information. What do you mean, what is he doing? Like, just stupid things like that. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, or Sam just walking into this building and is like, hey, do you know where, I don't know what the woman's name is. You know where she is, Mama Danya? And I'm like, dude, you can't just walk into some random building. They know who you are. They're not going to help you out. Like, you have to be sneaky. I don't know. So that kind of stuff bothered me. But
the TT thing, I kind of had a slight issue with. I mean, I liked it in and of itself. I liked, how it kind of added an extra little bit of culture to, Sam Wilson's like family life outside of, the sister stuff that we've already seen.
Yeah, not everyone is aunt. Like,
my issue is that it's such a tired troping thing to have characters make fun of what another character calls an old family member or something. It's such an overdone thing. Like it wasn't something like, he didn't call her like, fluffy pie or something. It wasn't like really bad. Like,
yeah, it was just like,
but the other thing is the detective element of, oh well, she just had somebody close to her die, I had somebody close to me die, and our cultures must be exactly the same and have exactly the same death rituals. I mean, these are like, what, I don't know, like Europeans or just, people, they're like quite a diverse crowd of,
like,
they don't know what
hunch,
she is.
But it definitely was weird that it was like right on the money.
Yeah,
it was straight on. We had a funeral for a week, so they probably in Latvia have a funeral for a week as well. Really? And also, if you're a terrorist on the run, do you really stop and have a week-long funeral?
Yes. No.
You're on the move. You're losing soldiers. This is a war, damn it.
Yeah, we have the scene. Sam, I don't know what that building was. I guess it was like a school, workplace, refugee. He calls them refugees, and the guy has a great line.
Scene is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're internationally displaced persons or something like that. That scene is really cool because it really kind of starts to show how the relevance of the stuff we saw in the earlier episodes with Falcon and his family, and he's kind of now seeing this different perspective on how these problems that are affecting him are basically the same problems that are affecting these other people, in a slightly different context. And you can see the cogs in his head where he's starting to realize, like, oh, there's room here where I could see how I could be like, maybe be a different kind of Captain America that, kind of focuses on different levels of problems and kind of tries to benefit society in ways other than just like punching Nazis in the face, And I think you can really see him like internalizing that with, they didn't stop to have any conversation about that. And I know a lot of people kind of criticize the show for not focusing enough on the thought process of like why he turned the shield down and stuff. And I feel like we really delved into that without having to, exposition our way into it. So I thought that was a really, really well done little moment there.
Yeah, we didn't really have to get a whole speech of why he turned down the shield. Like I don't
think so, but it was just something that I've kind of seen some people.
It feels pretty obvious why he turned it down.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people kind of like, well, obviously if you turn it down, they're going to give it to somebody else, and maybe you should have just taken it anyway, even though you didn't want it, for the betterment of everyone, or the perceived betterment of the situation, at least. And I think, you know, so you could kind of see why he would take it or not take it then. But I think they're doing a really good job of just kind of like colouring the, you know, where his head's at, you know, with his perspective on the situation. And there's that great line as well where Bucky says, if you don't want it, I'll just fucking take it.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't give it to you. He gave it to me. It's like, yeah, but you didn't, you know. There was some really good stuff there. And they didn't go heavily handed on like the buddy cop romance comedy stuff in this one. The comedy was pretty
That's what I was
minimum.
just going to say that. I felt like the comedy was very good this episode. Like, there was just little bits of joke. The one joke where Zemo's talking about Nazis, Ultron, and Avengers, and Sam's like, well, those are our friends. He's like, not the Nazis. I thought that was funny. I was like, okay, just a little bit of humor. Like,
yeah, that was good. There was just enough, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't too much. Like they really tried hard in 1 or 2 episodes, and this one was just more. This one was the authentic Winter Soldier-esque episode that we've all been wanting from this show. I think this episode really perfected. There was one little line from Bucky that I didn't like that I thought was supposed to be funny, and it wasn't. Where he hits the guy down and he's just tells him to stay down, and I was like, "That's such a lame."
That feels so in character for Bucky. He's not that kind of guy. To come in.
Is he going to make jokes about like?
I thought that was funny.
People?
I was like, yeah, I was going to say something and I forget. Okay, let's talk about Zemo a little bit.
Yes.
Kind of. I love the scene when he's singing Baba Black Sheep, and I feel like Zemo gets it. Like, and I guess that's probably you're supposed to see the difference between him and Sam and Bucky, where like they're just kind of using their brute force to get things done, and Zemo's
kicking
like
people through doors,
playing the game, is taking the Turkish delight, talking about his son, which I was like, oh my gosh.
And he writes that whole scene right up until like the bare minimum acceptable line of creepy. Like when he's walking up to the kids and he's, you know, offering the Turkish delight. He rides that so far up, and you know, where he just anymore, and we would have just lost all sympathy with that character. But he really did a good job of, like, you know, where he sets it up earlier with the Turkish delight, and then they kind of look at him like, "What are you doing?" But then he kind of tries to tell the kids that Bucky and Sam are bad guys, which I thought was kind of unnecessary. Because
it's a weird line because it doesn't really come into play at all.
That's what I thought. Maybe it's a setup for later. Because I thought the same thing. I'm like, is he going to turn on them? Is he going to? We see him with Carly later. I was like, are they going to team up? The complete opposite, actually. So that was a little weird. Now, But I still love Zemo.
Going after Carly, we set it up earlier where he has that scene with I think it's earlier where he has that scene with Bucky, and Bucky stands up to him and he like throws the thing, and you just see the rage and the fear on Zemo's face, where you're like, you really believe that this guy's like, these fucks need to just not be around. Like this is
that
exactly
scene was
what I'm
great
talking
too.
about.
He just gets up, grabs that cup,
and Sam has that good line where it's like he's gonna do that stupid head tilt thing. He's like, he corrects his head.
He's not even in focus when he does it. That's such a good moment. His head was already there, and he's just, you know, I mean, just the way his body language for the whole character, the way he's walking, he's kind of got this weird,
so good. I love him.
Nerd swagger.
I can't tell you how many TikToks I saw of him dancing in the club last week. Just over and over. I love him so much. It's so funny.
Marvel needs to get on that jacket. Put that jacket out. People want to wear that jacket. People want the fur collar fucking purple jacket. That's what, for Halloween, everyone's going to want that. And so dancing in the club, when we can all go back to clubs and Halloween is back.
No more clubs.
People in the jacket, in the Zemo jackets. Let's go do
this
that.
Halloween.
That
Scarlet Witch and Zemo. The hottest Halloween costumes. I'm calling it. Okay, let's talk about Carly. I don't know. Just Carly. How are we feeling about Carly? How we feel about this villain? They really kind of setting up the power broker in the background.
I wasn't loving her. I thought she was one of the weaker things about the show for the first few episodes, but she really steps up in this episode.
I agree.
And we get a really good parable between her story and what Sam's got, like I said earlier, with like kind of
That scene was
what
great
they're going
too.
through
Yeah,
and what
her and
Sam
Sam were
is
really
going
good scene.
through until Thingy fucks it up.
Yeah, fucking John.
Fucking
The
Walker,
tension.
that's
Oh
why
my
he's not
god,
worthy.
him sitting in there just like looking at the clock and like freaking out. I was like, oh, this is so good. I think he's doing. Wyatt Russell is doing a fantastic job because I know everyone hates him. We hate him, but he's just so good.
Yeah, there should be some Emmy nominations for this for sure.
He's fantastic.
There's at least like 4 or 5 really great performances that
And
have happened
Zemo.
in multiple episodes. And Zemo, that doesn't count.
Give me Zemo. Yeah, the scene at the like funeral, her little speech was great, and I really do think they really stepped up her character this episode. I agree. And then the conversation between her and Sam, it didn't feel. I thought it was gonna feel more like villainy, with her, kind of like, here's my master. You know how they make fun of it? I think it's in Deadpool, here's my villain speech. I'm giving you my. It just felt very natural, and the way she was talking to him just felt like this scared girl that was a little bit above what was going on, but still knew what she was doing. When she says like, they got in my way and I'd kill him again.
And Sam's like, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, dang, girl. And I'd do it again. I was like, oh. But yeah, that scene was great. John Walker interrupts, and I'm just like mad, screaming.
One thing about Carly, though, is when she realizes that Lamar's just been killed, she fucking bolts. She is out.
Everyone pauses and they get out of there.
Her face. She made a good like, oh shit, I just killed John Walker's best friend, Captain America's.
Yeah, she completely. I mean, even the guy that gets killed, he's like, it wasn't me. It's like, come on, you're part of the terrorist organization. Accept the responsibilities of the situation.
No, I would be out just like her. Like that man. Like, come on. No, I'd be out. I like the scene in the graveyard.
Yeah. Because he's the guy who gets killed is the one who's like, I looked up to Cap when I was a kid.
Oh no, I didn't realize.
He's the one that gets killed at the end by New Cap. It's very ironic.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Wow.
And he didn't even seem like he had an American accent necessarily. So it was just like, if you're from another country and you're a fan of Cap, that is some serious bootlicking.
Maybe that's why she was like, should I make fun of you?
Even if it is Steve Rogers' Cap, like, he doesn't know that he's actually genuinely a good guy.
That's true.
It's pretty lame. I think if Cap was a real superhero, he would be the lamest one to be a fan of.
Well, come on. Good question.
Especially
you think it's Cap?
Of course, especially the last 5 years. With the political climate, Cap would have been just the most unlike superhero. Cap would have been cancelled if he was real. Even Steve Rogers, without John Walker, they would have cancelled him a long time ago.
No, just kidding. We're not going to go there.
And you're telling me that there was never once any footage of Cap just killing soldiers in the war? Come on, is it really any different? Just because the political lines are drawn a little bit differently now than what they were then. He's still doing the exact same act of brutal murder with a shield. But just because the
I don't think he ever murdered someone with the shield.
No.
Come on, he was
indirectly. He maybe
go back to the first Cap movie and the first couple of Avengers movies, and he's booting in Age of Ultron. He's booting Hydra goons through doors left, right, and center.
Yeah, but he didn't take it and stat. I thought he was going to cut his head off, and I was like, that's a little too far.
You like how potatoes cooked differently, okay?
I thought they were going to decapitate him. Oh my gosh.
I like some mashed potato with a shield.
I was like, no, this is too much. Yeah, and then Carly running away, and that whole little quick chase scene, and then Zemo messing up the super serum.
Yeah,
I forgot he hated them. I don't know why, because they really made you believe that they hated them, and I was like, oh my god, he's gonna take the serum. And then I was like, no, that goes against everything with Zemo.
I mean, I did look at him and I was like, Is he? Because I thought maybe he might go down this path of like
Yeah.
in order to, because they're like this is becoming a problem that is kind of spreading beyond just one country, beyond just Hydra or one organization. It's like maybe I need to just take this stuff so I can kill all the other ones and then kill myself at the end, because he was going to kill himself at the end of Civil War anyway. So he's clearly got the capability to just commit himself to a cause. We've seen that. He could have taken the serum. It would have been a long shot, and I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah,
Still hoping we get to see him sword fight though.
I was cheering pretty loud when he was crushing the serum.
Yeah, pretty cathartic, very cathartic. And we should want more soldiers, right? Because we want like more action and more dudes punching each other and stuff. And they did exactly in this what they did in Civil War, where they set it up like, oh, the third act's going to be like this big battle with all these super soldiers in this lab in Siberia, whatever it was, and then obviously.
Oh yeah.
Zemo just shuts them all down, and he's like, "No, it's just me fucking with you, and that's the enemy that you've got to deal with." See.
Yeah.
So they were setting it up in this that Flag Smashers were going to like make more soldiers, and we was going to get this big army fighting the Dora Milaje and all this other stuff maybe. And he's just like, "No, I'm just, I'm going to get rid of these." And it was believable that one could have just rolled between those two bottles. Normally, when they do scenes like that, it's so cheesy, like, "Oh, but wait, there's one more."
Yeah.
But I really felt like, because we knew that Zemo is like in an emotional state when he was doing it and everything else,
he was like,
it was believable that one could have, a genius like Zemo could have just missed one. And I liked that. That could have easily been a really lame, cheesy, like villain moment. And they handled that really well. I would have liked to have seen Walker take the serum though. That's one small complaint. I feel like that could have been a cool scene of him kind of just shooting up, and that's probably why they didn't do it, to be fair.
Because according to Carly, it really hurts. It's like she said, it felt like her blood was on fire.
Yeah, but she runs at the first sign of trouble anyway. What does she know?
Yeah, she got out of there.
Oh no, because she wanted to kill Cap. That was her like whole purpose of like, other than like uniting the countries and everything. But she was like, I want to kill their mascot, and she literally killed his second-hand man. Got the close to him as she's ever.
I think that was an accident. Do you think she killed him on purpose, or was that an accident?
No. She punched him. I guess she didn't realize how hard she punched him into that pillar.
No. But if she wants to kill Cap on purpose, then surely she's not going to be overly cut up about killing, Cap 2. Or, Cap's
but now Cap's going to come after you.
Really?
And you just murder your, second-hand man in front of everyone.
They set it up in the last episode that she had no conscience about blowing up a building full of innocent people. Yeah. And now all of a sudden she's really upset that she's accidentally killed one, Captain America allied person.
I don't think she was upset she killed him. I think she was just scared. Like, oh,
Captain America, who she's been going after this whole series. She's supposed to be a terrorist mastermind, goddammit. Mastermind your terrorism and fuck him up.
Oh my gosh. The one scene I was confused about, and even rewatching it, I'm still confused. Why did they meet her in the building and then leave and then they started fighting? I don't understand what happened.
I don't know about that specifically, but there is an element of this scene or the part of the writing that did bother me, and it's where Carly contacts Sam's sister to send a message to Sam.
It was
and
weird.
Then she says, "You send him the coordinates, or I'm going to come threaten your family and everything else." And then before Sam's sister is able to send the coordinates, Carly just texts Sam where she is anyway.
Oh, Carly texted?
Yeah, and she already had his contact details apparently, and then also you might be right about the Sarah thing, but it was just simple as just texting him their location, like really, and then to top it off, the location was literally like 2 minutes round the corner from where they was. They were like, "Oh, this is where Carly is. Great, she's in that window over there," and then they just go and bust her. It's like, really? You could have just shouted out the fucking window and found her that way. They were that close. It's like, really, weird. The whole plan. This is a globetrotting adventure, and a lot of it is conveniently taking place in Latvia. I love it. Does look beautiful. It does look beautiful, and I love some of the cinematography and the locations and stuff. But it was obvious that, like, their budget, they needed to stay in this location for a bit because
I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought it was weird.
She was right there
because they go there to meet her. Sam and Bucky. They get Sharon. Sharon contacts Sam and says, "Hey, Cap's here," or something like that. And so they go towards him, but then Carly tries to stop them.
Yeah, I thought
And
that
that
was
becomes
so.
a whole
She
different
said,
scene.
"I'm trying to decide if I need to." Or no, she says it to Sarah. I need to decide if I need to kill your brother or not. And then they show up in their Avenger uniforms or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it just felt weird because we just saw them wearing normal clothes, and all of a sudden, like, he has the wings and stuff, and I was like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, between
And then
that and then Carly being right around the corner, it just felt very choppy, almost like they've missed something
he like
out.
walks in, he's like, Carly! And I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you screaming? Like, what is happening? And then they have this weird conversation, and then Sharon Carter is out of nowhere. She shows up in this episode, still don't know why.
For 1 second.
Yeah, it was very
just
weird.
to arouse
two
more
scenes,
suspicion.
kind of.
We still don't know what's going on with her. Talks about,
She owns
kind
a
of sets up.
satellite.
She's tracking John Walker via a satellite. She's clearly got, and she's been cut off from like Shield and the CIA and everything else. So she's clearly not.
But
just
we
in
don't
the
know
art
who
game.
she's working with.
Yeah.
Clearly not the art game people.
Maybe the power broker, who they mentioned
Clearly.
him. Do you think we're going to see the power broker by the end of the series? Or is that just like a name? Is it an actual person?
If we do see them, I think it might be maybe a last episode.
Have we already
after
seen
credits,
the Power Broker?
Or maybe we've already seen them. Maybe it's just a reveal.
Is it Zemo? Is it Helmet Zemo? That is my guess.
I mean, this
is it like a title, or is it an
so.
actual person? Is it a comic thing? What
in
is
the comics,
the power broker?
In the comics, it's a person who gave like super soldier serum to different factions. They gave it to
John Walker in the
John
comics.
Walker.
I think
They
actually
gave it to a bunch of other people too. So I don't think
a
it'd
lot
be
of the
Zemo if
Thunderbolts.
they're still doing that. And we know next episode there's going to be a new character reveal that hasn't been in the MCU yet. So we don't know who that is yet.
Spoilers.
Yeah. I mean, I have some theories on who that's going to be, and I'm not gonna. It's based. I'm only theorizing based off of like casting rumors and stuff. I'm not gonna go into it because I don't want to ruin it. It's not like a major. It's like a D. If it's who I think it is, it's like a D list. You know,
Michael Fassbender
superhero character. It's Michael Fassbender.
Calling it back, Paul Ben.
But I do think we're going to see the Power Broker. I don't know how we're going to get any more like superpower people. Yeah, of course it is. He's coming into a Maker Aerospace.
It's everyone we thought from WandaVision.
Yeah.
Just finally showing up.
But it was in their contract that they had to all appear in one episode because of the rumours, and they just moved them straight over here and worked them in that way. But no, I do think we'll see the
Power Broker.
But then what does the Power Broker do now with no serum, nothing? Do they have other means of making superpower people? Are they then going to go and maybe, now that all the serum's destroyed, is this how Isaiah Bradley comes back into the picture? They then go and try and capture him to take some more samples, and then that could kind of bring that storyline back in, and Sam and Bucky will probably have to go and rescue him, or maybe they've got other people, you know, hooked up to drips that they're siphoning serum off of, or maybe they're just like, oh well, Kylie, we'll just take you and just use you as a lab rat, you know, because the Power Broker is clearly not going to be happy with her because she's lost
calls her
serum,
little girl,
and they're after her now. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big clusterfuck with the Wakandans and the Power Broker and what's left of Kylie's crew after they all ran away. Like,
oh yeah,
we got. I'm not going to say
a whole bunch that's going to happen. I have a quick question. I was thinking about this today. So WandaVision came out first, even though this, I believe, Sean said that this show was supposed to come out before that. And I've seen a lot of people watch that more than I thought they would. And I have seen people saying that they don't feel like anyone is watching this show. Not as many people are watching this show, which kind of surprises me. And I guess my question is, like, do you think this show, do you feel like that's true, that less people are watching this, less people are interested in this show than that were interested in WandaVision? And do you feel like if this show would have came out first, if it would have been reversed? Like, this would have been the bigger show.
I know. I don't know if people. I think everyone who's probably watched WandaVision will likely watch this. I don't know if it's not the same like essential like week to week. Oh my God, what reveals are we gonna have? Kind of.
That's
it's
true.
not had that same kind of bubble of.
It's not the crazy big mystery that's going on.
What's gonna happen next week?
Really cut and dry.
But I do think if this was the first show to come out, it would be much more well received because people are, oh my God, it's like Winter Soldier quality MCU. It's back. You know, we're gritty. I think because WandaVision was so weird, it maybe I think a lot of people probably wanted more of that. And from like the TV shows, and to kind of now go from that to like what kind of just feels like a diet movie to some people maybe. But I think if this come out first, people will be like, "This is Marvel on TV done perfection."
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
This is Marvel, like almost Marvel quality in a TV form. Of course, it's longer than a movie would be because of the episodes.
This episode definitely feels more cinematic than the other two.
But WandaVision purposely wanted to look different until those last couple episodes.
Yeah,
where it really got more modern.
And those were
well, look, obviously WandaVision is purposely trying to be like a TV show. That was kind of the whole shtick. Yeah. Whereas this is like you say, it's basically it's like 95% quality. Marvel cinematic quality. Especially this episode. Some of the cinematography was fantastic. All the stuff on Zemo's building and the other buildings in Latvia and stuff. The stuff with John Walker with the low shots and the lens glare and all of this stuff. It was really well
forget
done.
that this is a TV show when I'm watching it. Like, it does feel like a movie.
I didn't want this episode to end. I wanted to sit there and watch 2 hours of this episode at this level, and I'm ready. And I hope we carry on moving forward with this quality. And there's no, there's not enough room. There's not enough episodes where we can kind of afford to have a dip before we kind of crescendo again at the end. So I'm hoping we kind of just ride this steady thing that we've been doing, and they don't try and kind of start throwing too many like super soldiers at us in the last few episodes, but they clearly can't afford more than one location.
You're right. Do we have any final last thoughts about this episode?
I like that Zemo got away. That was cool of him.
Yeah.
You can't just hang up a guy who beat the Avengers.
Because when the Dora Milaje were fighting, he saw that as an advantage to just.
He said El Chapo.
He's whiskey and moves off.
I thought that was fun. Yeah.
We have an idea of where he's going to, or at least where he'll end up at.
We do. What's that idea?
One of the first trailers for the show showed him at the Sokovia Memorial, which you brought up last episode.
Oh,
so he'll probably end up there.
Oh,
yeah.
Back in another nightclub, maybe another Zemo dance scene.
I don't think Sokovia is going to be that kind of place anymore. To be honest, I don't think that's the vibe that they really have. It's more of like a Chernobyl crater vibe than anything else.
Oh. So sad. Do you think they're going to kill off Zemo by the end of the show? I really hope they don't.
No. I don't think they've made him. Well, they've made him too sympathetic to kill him. I think they've really.
I just think he's a great villain. Like, I just think, like,
he's a great villain, but also he's a great anti-hero at the same time.
Because you definitely, and the thing about that, he is also part of the Thunderbolts, which we might be getting set up too.
They're so setting up the Thunderbolts, and I think we're going to get more Thunderbolts set up in this show. Which kind of
very interested
about characters that we might see.
Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I'm excited to see where we go next, because I feel like the government's not going to be happy about this situation that they're in.
No.
Clearly,
he's doing what they paid him to do. He's doing their job, obviously.
Might want to take that shield back from him as fast as they can.
Give it
and we
to
know
Sam.
We know that Sam gets it somehow, because we see him and Bucky.
Spoiler.
I'm kind of bummed that we've seen that. Yeah, I saw that clip and I was kind of bummed that we've seen that, because
I did not see that clip. So thanks, guys.
When I saw the clip, I assumed that was going to be like right at the beginning of the show, before he handed it off and decided, no, this isn't for me. But yeah, we haven't seen, unless it was cut out from.
Yeah, let's say it was cut then.
Which
maybe it's a fake scene.
Suck, but would be better than having it in there and me having already have seen it, I guess, because, you know, because that kind of, it looks like a post-credit scene. If you look at that scene that they released in the context of what we've now seen in the show, and we're 4 episodes in, it seems like Sam with the shield is like something that wouldn't happen till right at the very end. But, you know, there could be more to it. There could be more to it. Like John Walker, you know, he's not just a chin. You know, there's a real dude in there as well trying to do the right thing.
He looked, you could tell he was losing his mind because he looked like a rat in that mask, like the scrub.
He's in the beard. He's looking scruffy.
He's tweaking. His jaw's moving. He's tweaking. His eyes are like.
That's a great shot.
And the shot where he brings the shield up and you see his mouth open. It's like intentionally fun.
I believe that's a cover from one of the comics in the John Walker run. I believe that shot is like one of the famous appearances of US Agent, and he's got the shield up and he's got this bloody grin on his face and stuff. So yeah, I was, you know, not just for the like the homages and the Easter eggs, but just like I say, the cinematography, so good, so many fun moments.
The score, really good.
Yeah, they didn't overdo it. They really kind of let it just simmer and play it. I think it kind of got a bit dramatic in some of the other episodes. So yeah, they rein that in for great effect.
Great effect. Yeah. Any other last thoughts? Is that all our last thoughts? Okay, I'm gonna take it as a yes. Okay, well,
put me on a fountain and hit me with a shield. I'm done.
Oh my god! Until next week, next episode, Dean, where can the people find you or follow you?
Get me, guys. Helmut Demo. That's not my permanent Twitter handle. That'd be amazing.
That should be.
Get me, Dean Lewis 2099 on Twitter. Go and follow me there for fun movie jokes and random stuff, and maybe helmet jokes if you're lucky. I might get highbrow. Go find out.
Tyler, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at TylerRims. That's TYLER, You can also find me at Twitch at twitch.tv/TylerRims.
And you can find me also on Twitter at SCBock, SSEABOCK. You can follow this, oh my gosh, network. Woo, sorry, Josh. The Merc with a Movie Blog at Movie Blog Merc.
The Merkiest movie blog on YouTube.
I'm really bad at doing outros.
Put some respect on the movie blog's name.
It's fine. We are live every Friday, except for today, which is Saturday at 6:30 EST. Did a little switcheroo. And yeah, we will see you next week to recap the next episode. Until then,
guys.
Goodbye. Bye, Jay Wade.
See you soon.